Good morning, guys. Here we go. So part 3 of our reliability test series or whatever. We did our Mark 18s before. This weekend out here we have my PSA M4. Okay. I have a whole video and stuff. I think on when I built this and different stuff I did to it. So I'm not going to go into all the parts and pieces of it. Y'all don't care about that. The main thing to know about this gun is it is one of those PSA build kit, basically. One of those build kits that they have, one of their M4 kind of things. It was a 16-inch gun when I got it. I cut it down to 14.7 or whatever, and then pin and welded the brake on it, or brake the flash hider. So it is a 16-inch gun, but it is not an SBR. I think I said that right. Anyway, yeah, it's not an SBR, but it's a 16-inch gun. Anyway, so it's pretty close. It's pretty close as what I have to my Colt M4, okay? And we've already done all that comparison most of the time. So understanding the operating system of this whole thing is Palmetto State, okay? So that's really what we're looking at. For optics and stuff today, I'm just using the, the Bushnell TRD, or whatever. Anyway, the Bushnell AR optic, one of these 1-to-4s with throw lever. And I have that fake Surefire, the Chinese clone Surefire on here. I'm going to try to heat it up and see, still working, heat it up and see if we can break it, see if we can stress it out. But basically we're just looking at reliability, and I will tell you what, this thing, there's no way you can feel this, but that feels, when you hear people saying that their rifles feel like they're on ball bearings, that's how this thing feels. And I have shot it. It's not that it's sitting there soaking in oil, you know, the whole time I've had it. It just feels smooth. Anyway, it's interesting. So we're going to see if that actually keeps up during the day. Through our 1,000 rounds of what we've had the same thing before. We have our, American Marksman, or I think it's American Marksman. I always forget the name. It's AM, American something. But the 55 grain, we have the Barnell, was the 62 grain hollow point, the Tula 75 grain hollow point, and then the Brown Bear 55 grain full metal jacket. So I'm not going to try to jinx anything, but we're going to get to it and go the same way we've done before, where we go brass, Tula, Barnall, Brown Bear. So we're going to get to it and see what happens. It's a beautiful day out here. I don't know if you can really see out there. The camera, there you go, camera focuses. Really, really nice. Matt did a great job. He cleaned this place up really, really good. Mowed it down. We can run around and look like fools. Anyway, hope you all enjoy, and let's see how this thing rolls. All right, no surprises there. 250 rounds, and the brass stuff worked just fine. No problem at all. Actually, I'm pretty happy with how everything's rolling so far, except for this this rail mount. I know this is not a test of the rail mount itself, or rail mount, scope mount. See, when I get out here and I say things like failure to load, it's like sometimes my brain leaves whenever I come out here. So yeah, I apologize up front. I really am a bigger idiot than I put on. So anyway, this, not rail mount, this scope mount is actually kind of interesting. It's one of those cheaper ones. I think I got it off Amazon. But it is a quick detach, right? So it's got these little levers, but these do not lock. It's just a friction thing. So if over time these start coming loose and popping off, and they are kind of working their way out, we might have to look into something else. But yeah, anyway. So we're going to keep going. Dang it, that gets really hot. Yeah, this thing does get really hot, and this light still works, and it's toasty. Woo-wee! That's really toasty. It's interesting when you get a non-mil-spec light and a non-mil-spec rail. I don't know if the rail is not non-mil-spec. I don't know who makes it, but it's not like a Knights or whatever. Tighten down all the way. It's really hot, but you can hear that. Still got a little bit of rattle. Anyway, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. This rail was given to me, so I really appreciate it. So it's cool. So next up is the Tula, and we're going to get away from the bench here and get down there and actually do some Some fun shooting, see what we can do. First failure. This is a failure to extract. Right? We fired, but it didn't get in there. And I think I left my cleaning rod at the house, so I hope that didn't mess this whole thing up. My buddy might have a cleaning rod. I think he does. So yep, all right, we're gonna have to go check this guy out. This gun is really hot, just by the way. And this light, still working. All right, we're gonna go try to clear this guy. Okay, we got that fixed. I'm gonna take a picture of that, of the case that came out, because I think it's kind of telling. It has the, it looks like some kind of stuff stuck to the case. So obviously it was the stuck casing, there's no question about that. But why is it stuck? And my understanding of why steel case gets stuck more often than brass is because when it expands and contracts, brass will expand and contract a lot faster. This is my understanding. Expand and contract a lot faster when it is fired, but steel is slower, right? So if you put your, and I talked about this in the other video, if you chamber around, and if you saw the one that did malfunction, right? It was, I fired a couple times and then I kind of stopped and then I fired again and it got stuck. And so if you get the gun real hot, this is my theory and I've debunked it before, so but I think there might be something in there still. Not 100% of the time. But I think the theory is there's something there that's right, that if you get the gun real hot and you leave a piece of steel in your chamber, right, then when you go fire it, your likelihood of it being a stuck casing is going to be up. So what do? You either don't leave a fresh round in a hot chamber if it's steel, right? If you're going to set the gun down for a while, pull that round out. But yeah, I guess that's why steel cased in M4s are not like a military kind of thing. That's why they're better in AKs and stuff like that, because of the angle. And that's another video for another time. Anyway, so we're gonna keep shooting, and we're back running, and it seems to be going just fine. Yeah, flashlight still going. Anyway, here we go. Woo. So basically we have one failure so far with the steel, 0 failures with the brass, 1 failure with steel, a failure to eject, or a failure to extract, really is what it would be. Failure to extract. See, I think I get it right this time. And we got a couple more mags. I'm gonna let my buddy shoot those, let him have some fun. It's his range, he may as well have some fun. I think that was about half of our 75 Tula. Now we're gonna jump into our Barnaul. Right, the 62 grain hollow point, we're going to jump into it. All right, Barnaul 62. See, there's my theory again. We have another failure to extract. Okay, see it in there? All right. While I'm sitting here yapping with my mouth, that round did not come out. So, as what's his face likes to say, I find it rather funny. We're gonna go back, take care of this. We'll shoot some back there, and then we'll take it up top. All right, we got the case out. Not a big deal. Just use your cleaning rod, and we are going to continue with this. Which magazine was that? Oh, did it again. All right, so Barnaul is having a problem with stuck casings. Alright, well I just killed half my targets, so we're gonna go fix that.
Kind of fun shooting a spinning plate.
Yeah. Alrighty guys, we are back at the house. Here we go. So, after action for the PSA M4. This thing did pretty good. I'll be straight up honest, it did very well. It did better than the Colt and the Inspired Mark 18s. We had 0 malfunctions with the brass, 0 malfunctions with the Brown Bear, 1 malfunction with the Tula, and 2 malfunctions with the Barnaul. Each one of the malfunctions, all the malfunctions, were failures to extract. Okay, each time it fired, it was fine, no issues with that. It chambered, did everything it was supposed to do, but it did not extract 3 times. And each time I got those cases popped out, you could tell it had some corrosion, not corrosion, but some crud and stuff on the sides of the casing. That obviously is what made it stick in there. So it was interesting. It was interesting. But 3 malfunctions out of 1,000. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good track record so far. And I did not put this guy on paper, but it shot pretty consistently as long as the optic was dialed in, which I'll do a separate video on this guy. I don't think I ever really have talked about him very much, but this is the Bushnell, what is it, the 1-4, is it TRD, throwdown lever I think is what it's called. But once it was dialed in, this guy was dinging away. As long as you were doing your part, it would do what it needed to do. I did bring it back to 300 yards. I didn't get any of the shots on camera because it was the end of the day and I just had a couple mags left and I was just blasting through. I didn't know the exact range, but you could find your spot and you could relatively hit within a decent 4-inch circle. Maybe not as consistently as I would like, but on a human size or an animal size, or even if I was shooting at a basketball, I think I would have been hitting it a lot better. Anyway. That's not what it was talking about. We're not talking about accuracy. We're talking about reliability. And besides those 3 malfunctions, it ran like a sewing machine. As you can hear, it got a little gritty, but it's still relatively smooth. All right. When we started this, excuse me, when we started this, I had talked about how smooth it felt, like it was on ball bearings, and it has dried out some. I will admit, and you can hear that. Yeah. That is pretty gritty, but it is very dirty. We're gonna look at that in just a second. But yeah, it didn't hiccup, it didn't misfire, it didn't have any issues. It did appear to be a little overgassed. It was chucking the brass forward. Later on that day, which one was we shooting? Sometimes it was chucking it forward. I shot too many guns today. I should have taken notice, but I did notice it was shooting hard. It was shooting hard. It was really bucking on my shoulder. I probably have a little bit of a mark or something. Yeah, I'm a wuss because I have a mark from a 223. But, yeah, you shoot 1,000 rounds, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it a little bit. It's not bad. I'm not complaining about it. Whatever, shut up. Okay, you know what I'm saying. But it did good. It did. The point of what I was trying to say is it did feel a little overgassed, which is fine. I would rather have it overgassed than undergassed. I've gone over that in other videos. So there you go. Worked very, very well. 3 malfunctions out of 1,000. I'd give it a pass. We'll break it open real quick for you. I don't think y'all really care so much about this part because obviously it's going to be dirty. Yeah, the inside's nice and nasty. And you can't see anything because we're got the door open to the garage because it's hot outside. Actually, it cooled down a lot. But yeah, nasty bolt carrier group. Nothing that can't be cleaned off. Nothing that can't be fixed. And you can't really see in there anyway. But, yeah. It's nice and nasty. My finger. Nice and half dirty. Yeah, I got a cut on my one finger. Oh yeah, and there you go, nice and black. Nasty, 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 nasty. But it functioned, and that's the whole point. Even after going about halfway through my rounds, then letting it completely cool, and then going through the rest of them, if it was going to mess up, I think that would induce malfunctions, right? Because the gun is not going to be heated up and expanded. It's going to have time to cool and contract, and all that carbon, all that junk, all that crud is going to be tighter in the chamber, right? So when you go to chamber your rounds in the afternoon, you would think you would have malfunctions, but we didn't. It actually worked very well. So there you go. And that was my neighbor. That's cool. So there you go. That was interesting. So I really thought it did very well, and I'm very pleased with it. So hopefully next week we will get to go see the Colt M4, and I hope it just runs like a steam machine and does what it needs to do. It's not overgassed, and it just plugs away. And let's hope for 100% reliability. We did really well with this one, but I think we can do better. 3 malfunctions. I don't know. This does not even have a chrome-lined chamber, so that might help. Anyway, I appreciate y'all watching, support and everything. Ask questions, go away, let me know what you think. And yeah, that's it. We'll catch y'all in the next video. Appreciate you watching.